Hey there, everybody. Bill Jr. here as always. And coming to you today, below you're going to see a great article because we get asked this question all the time. What the heck is my roof going to cost, right? Well, what we figured out is there's a lot of factors that go into it. Namely, there's 9 of them. And what this article is going to do is really break down the effect that all 9 of those have in determining the cost of your roofing system. And I think that's one of the first ones people always underestimate, and they confuse a roof with a roofing system, okay? Because the roof is just your shingles or just the membrane, right? The topmost thing you see on there, and that causes a lot of confusion for a lot of people, especially residential homeowners, because they'll often look at a complete roofing system replacement and compare it to a proposal for a roof replacement, right? And it's just the shingles. And what we hear all the time from homeowners is, well, why is your proposal $15,000 and theirs only $11,000? You're doing the same shingles, right? Well, the reality is the shingles or the membrane oftentimes is the least important part of the process. It really is all of the other things that go into it. So what are those 9 things? The first thing we always want to talk to a homeowner about is how long do you want your roof to last, right? Are you looking for a quick 5 to 10 year option because you're going to be out of the home, you're selling, you're moving, for whatever the reason may be? The longer you want that roof to last, it's going to be correlated, right? The more expensive it's going to be. It's really that simple. If you want a roof that lasts 35, 40, 45 plus years, it is going to cost a lot more than the roof that, hey, it's just got to make it 10 years, right? So how long do you want to own the roof? Number 2, how many layers of roofing do you have on your current system? Now, by code, you absolutely can have more than 1 layer of roofing. However, you can't have more than 2, okay? Now, when it comes to steep slope or shingle roofing or metal roofing, you really never want to have more than 2 layer or more than 1 layer of roofing up there. Why is that? You know, we hear all the, well, you know, when we did this before, we put a 2nd layer on it. Why can't we do it now? We'll be the first ones to tell you you can. We'll also be the first ones to tell you we will not. And the reason is it doesn't make a lot of sense to us. The second you put a 2nd layer of roofing on a steep slope roof, it does not stop that old roof, the wood itself, everything continuing to break down. And if that's exactly what the new roof is adhered to, right? It's adhered through and to the old roofing system and the old wood. As those break down over the next 5, 10, 15 years, it is going to cause failures in that roofing system very often. So we're just not willing to do that because our commitment to customer service is just different, right? We don't want to have homeowners who are going to have problems after 5 or 10 years with their brand new roofing system, especially when a re-roof still costs 60 to 70% of what a full replacement would. Now, flat roofing, you can have 2 layers. The key there is to make sure the original roofing system and its insulation does not have moisture penetrating. So the next one, this one's pretty straightforward, right? How big is your roof? The bigger the roof, the bigger the investment. Now, the only piece we always really try and coach people through here is, you know, it's the size of your roof, not the size of your home. You know, a traditional colonial that may be 2,500 square feet could be dramatically less than their neighbor, right, who has the 2,000 square foot ranch, because the roofing area covering that ranch, because that roof is going over every square foot of that home, is much larger than the colonial that may have 2,500 square feet, but it's stacked on top of itself, right? Garages are another one. Those play a big role because you still have a roof over the garage. So it's just important to remember it's your roofing square footage, not your home square footage. The next one, steepness or the pitch of your roof. How steep is your roof? You know, if you have a really shallow roof and it's easy to walk on, man, we're going to be able to handle that a lot faster. There's not as much safety equipment, and by extension, that's going to lessen the investment you're going to have for that new roof. You have a really steep, really high old roof, man, it takes us a lot longer. We have to go slower. The safety equipment involved is much greater. The setup and takedown of the safety equipment. Those all are contributing factors to why a very steep roof is going to be a greater investment or a greater cost than a shallower roof. Now the good news is too, those 8 and 10 pitch roofs do tend to last a little longer because they don't hold on to debris onto the roof itself. From there, you want to think about what type of roof do I want? What type of roof do I need? You know, if you are looking at a metal roof, it can be a great option because over the next 60 years, that might replace 2, maybe 3 traditional shingle roofs that you would have had to install in that same timeline. So it really actually has a much lesser life cycle cost, right? Because it's lasting 60, 70 years compared to that roof, that shingle roof that's only going to go 20, 25 years. So it's important. You know, the better the material, there's composites out there, the longer it's going to last, generally the greater the investment's going to be, right? So these things all play a factor in it. The next one, long-term protection, right? As a consumer, you have the ability to shift who's accepting the liability 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, 50 years down the road. The manufacturers themselves, most of them offer 50-year full system warranties that'll cover all the materials. Many contractors are going to give you some period of time guaranteeing their installation or their craftsmanship. Then there's some guys like us who will guarantee both. We'll actually personally guarantee both the product and our workmanship. You know, in our case, we'll go up to 20 years. Now, the more liability you're asking your contractor to accept, that is generally going to drive up your investment cost. Whereas if those are not important to you, pull those out. And we can do that. We'll pull them out of our systems. And guess what that does? It drops the price you're going to pay. So really, really big factor in that. Next one, customer service, right? Man, there are in here in Metro Detroit, there's over 1,000 roofing contractors. 1,000. Now, that doesn't mean they're all real companies. And it comes back to the consumer. What's important to you? Hey, do you want a company that when you call, somebody's live and answering the phone to deal with your questions? Do you want to have project managers who are communicating when the dumpsters are going to be delivered? When's the crew going to show up? When is cleanup going to happen? When am I going to get my invoice? All those little touches and those communications. So it's a really great and smooth process. If you want that, well, that is, you know, those are real people. Those are real wages and salaries that have to get paid. And again, that will have an effect on the investment you're going to make. If you're comfortable with the contractor who you're going to sign with and they're just going to show up and knock it out, guess what? I can assure you, you're going to be able to get a lesser price for that roofing system than, you know, somebody who's going to have that commitment to customer service. The other piece with customer service people always forget about is what happens 5 years down the road. The question you should always be asking any contractor if you have a concern about customer service is, do you have an in-house service department or an in-house warranty department? And is that all they do? Because if you spring a leak 5 years down the road, 2 years down the road, 15 years down the road, do you want the assurance that when you call, you're going to have somebody on it right away responding to it? Because we hear stories all the time when we're going out for repairs. Yeah, this was a warranty claim, but I've been waiting 6 months. Well, if you don't want to have that experience, then yeah, you want to make sure you're using a contractor that really has a dedicated service department. Where do you think customer service comes from? Service department. In our case, you know, if you ever had an issue, you submit the form right online or give us a call. You get a response within 24 hours from our service department because we get it. You have a problem, and a problem that you paid us already to fix. We got to get out there and get that taken care of for you. And the last one, man, I think this is really the big one, is do you want your roof replaced? Do you want your roofing system replaced? When you think about a roofing system, we're talking about flashings, we're talking about underlayments, we're talking about ventilation, we're talking about gutters, we're talking about attic insulation, attic health. Those are all factors in how is your roofing system going to perform. I cannot tell you how many people we've met who thought they purchased a roofing system, only for us to go out and go, well, they did exactly what you paid them to do. They removed the shingles, they put new shingles on, but they went ahead and reused their chimney flashing, your apron flashing, your drip edges. These things that most consumers think are stock and common and part of the process, they're not. what everyone unfortunately wants to always look at, and it's where we started, they want to look at what's the shingle and what's the price. But it's all of those components that go into it. So it's these 9 different components that as the consumer, you should be thinking about that really drive the cost of what it is that you're going to be paying for. You know, have a discussion with your contractor, have a discussion as a household. If you're ready, here's the good news too. We got this great online instant estimate tool. So if you're looking to get an idea, what is this going to cost me based on what's important to you, go ahead, fill it out. You know, we'll email it right to you. You'll get the full breakdown. You know, you get to pick and choose the components because it's all about you. We just want you to be informed so that if you choose to partner with us and allow us to serve you, we're going to give you exactly what you want. If you have any other questions, always reach out to us. You know, the phone number's right here on the website. You can chat with us live. Go ahead and schedule an appointment online if you like. We really look forward to the opportunity to serve you. Hope this was valuable and you learned something from it. And I hope you all take care and have a Kangerific day.